Update. My husband beat cancer and now is giving up on our relationship. He's also abusing me financially. Original post. It's been 6 months since my 21 female husband 21 male had a stem cell transplant. This was in conjunction with chemotherapy to help improve his quality of life if the chemo worked as a treatment. He had metastatic brain cancer in his bones, and his chances weren't good. He still has to worry about the cancer coming back in the future, but the treatment did work, and now he's back to normal life. Except nothing has been normal. He's been depressed ever since he got home from the transplant. I've tried talking to him about it and showing my support. I talked to his family, basically just telling them he's feeling burned out and asking if they could reach out more. I've tried to handle a lot of my own struggles on my own. I have clinical depression, and now I'm recovering from pushing that aside to be his caregiver for 2 years. I'm in counseling and I still work full-time. This past week he told me he's been thinking about it for a few weeks, and he doesn't think he can do this anymore. This being our marriage. He says I always take my anger out on him, and the past year has been all about me. I took a few deep breaths and then told him that's hard to believe, since in the past year all I've done is work and use all my vacation days on being there for his treatments. This summer, we used all of our extra money on him getting his dream motorcycle and all the accessories to go with it. We had planned on me getting one too, but it ended up being too expensive, so we agreed on him doing the motorcycle course and getting a bike himself. I've been focused on my therapy and healing. I've been going to work every day. I also got basically ghosted by my bestie after she got married this summer. I've had repressed memories and childhood traumas come up in the last month that I've been working through basically on my own. My husband knows this, but we've had a total of 2 conversations about it. And when I try to bring it up, he makes the conversation about something unrelated. I said I wanted to go to marriage counseling, since he's been refusing to see his own therapist or counselor for the last 3 years. He finally got himself a counselor instead, and I feel like it's too late for that. After he told me this week he thought our relationship was over, I snapped. I told him if he was giving up, then I wasn't going to shut up about the pain I'm dealing with anymore. I'm always forced to be quiet, to listen to him talk about what he's going through, and I've done it happily for our entire marriage. And to hear him say those things felt like the ultimate betrayal. Now he wants to take it back. He says I never should have said that he wants me to give him time to work with his counselor and heal. But I still think the problem isn't addressed. He thinks the last year had been about me, when our entire marriage has been about him. And he never acknowledged that. He refuses to talk about his treatment and things we were together for, but he makes jokes about his own funeral even though it makes me cry. Does anyone have advice? Or questions are welcome. I think he's given up, but now that he's verbalized it, part of me just wants to be done. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. Be done. Cancer doesn't make people saints. Sounds like he's pretty self-centered and wants to make you the bad guy. Maybe because he is unconsciously upset that you are starting to focus on yourself rather than him 110%. I really didn't want to believe this, but the longer I hold out, the more I see him treating me this way. Remission in a lot of ways is harder than treatment. The PTSD coupled with fear of relapse can break a person. That doesn't even start with the people that abandon you along the way. You're right. Cancer doesn't make people saints, but treatment and recovery doesn't end the same day as chemo. Think about this for a minute. Do you really want to spend the rest of your life with this person? I don't, but I really thought I would. It's okay to be done. You're 21. You have your whole life ahead of you. Yes, brain cancer at such a young age sucks. You were a good wife to him by doing everything you could to take care of him. Don't let him lie to you and tell you it was all about you. He's obviously struggling, but instead of turning toward you and you two working together against the problem, he's taking all his anger out on you. And that's not okay. That's abusive, actually. Never date someone that makes you put all of your own self-care aside indefinitely. You're starting to realize now that your wants, needs, and feelings matter, and that's good. I'm glad you're in therapy and working through your trauma. You found your voice. Don't let an immature, selfish jerk take that away from you. You've always had to do everything by yourself, which isn't right. You deserve to date someone who would do the same for you, instead of just take while you give. You deserve self-care and healing. You deserve an equal partner. There is no shame in being divorced at 21. You're still young. You have your whole life ahead of you. So go forth without guilt, and maybe avoid getting into another relationship until you have addressed your trauma. You'll find that what you're looking for will change once you have started to heal. Trust me on that. Thank you so much for this. It's been a few weeks now, and I'm starting to think that you're right. But I'm kind of ashamed of getting divorced, and I'm scared of hurting him or regretting it in the future. The more I go over it, the more I think I know what I want to do, but I don't feel strong enough to go through with that at this point. Now for the first update. Here's the skinny. My 21 female husband, 21 male had 2 years of intense treatment for cancer. He went into remission after a stem cell transplant this past spring. Ever since, he's been negligent of my feelings and our relationship. He rarely wants to do anything I want to do, and there's always a reason why we can't at a time, but he'll never consider it again after he said no. And this is about stupid things like going to the zoo or out late on a weeknight. He won't spend any extra money on me, even to get a lamp to go over my vanity, or new clothes when I've hardly shopped since we got married. I make my own money, but he does all the budgets. When he was in treatment, we developed a system where I'd send him what he needed to pay the bills. He'd send my money back to me if there was an extra. When we moved in the spring, our rent went up, so he said we had to cut our spending money. He told me to just keep $100 every month and send him the rest. I don't. I always say there's a few extra things I need to keep money for and hang on to a bit, but I still end up with very little in my account. And I always told him that I wasn't okay with doing that for more than a month or two, while we figured out our finances. I'm not comfortable just sending all my money to him to handle. But ever since, it's been reason after reason why we haven't been able to merge our accounts. He said a few times that he understands why I want a joint account, but he doesn't see the difference since he's my husband and I can trust him with. He knows my parents are really bad with money, and they never taught me to manage money. Sometimes he hints at that when I talk about wanting to share in our finances. But I had more savings than my husband ever did. I owned my own car before I even had one, and then his dad paid for half of it. I paid for our wedding. It was small, but still nice, and cost about $8,000. While we were engaged, he bought a pickup that died before our wedding. He spent his savings paying the rest of the loan on it, about $10,000. I paid first and last in our apartment and covered rent while he couldn't find a job. This is after I got him a job at a pizzeria I'd been at for 6 months. He got us both fired. He always says they were shady anyways, which is true, but not the point. After my original post, I told him I want to set up a mutual fund, so we can at least have our cash and bills coming from the same place. He just asked me to move the appointment with the bank, then a few minutes later came out with a plan he and his brother made for us to get a joint checking account. I said that's not a mutual fund. I don't want to do what we already planned. At this point, the red flags are off the map. We've talked, he explains, but things never get better for me. I can't focus on myself at all because I'm basically babysitting a grown man. I have so much healing to do. I don't want to do it together, but he's not letting it happen. I think it should be over, but part of me wants to keep fighting for this. After everything, I just want this to work so bad. Could this possibly be salvageable? If not, how do I pick myself up enough to face that fact? Honestly, it sounds like it might be over. A relationship that's entirely on his terms is no relationship at all. It feels like he is taking you for granted. I'm glad he's beaten cancer, and you should be proud of everything you did to help him through that time. But maybe it's time for you to both split up so you can put that kind of energy in someone who'll respect you. This is honestly how I feel. I wish that person could be him, but I've spent so long all but, and sometimes even, begging him for the respect I really deserve. We're young, and I think I should realize that now and get out while we both have lots of time to heal. In the same breath, what if one day I'm 40 and single, and wish to God I'd stayed with my first husband, lol. Thanks for the support. I feel super lonely right now. No single 40-year-old has ever said, I should have stayed with my first husband. Trust me, I would have heard it by now if that was a thing. Good point. Nah, I've seen this happen to a close friend. All the bills were going from her salary and his was nowhere in the picture. End result was him defaulting on car loans and $70,000 plus debt on overseas travels, etc. Leave now and don't look back. This is what I'm scared of. He has been telling me we're paying off the credit card for months and is maxed out right now. I have no idea where all the money went. but I'm terrified. Yep, and another friend just ended a 13-year marriage. Same thing. He made her feel dumb and convinced her she's not smart enough to have access to her own money. He's since crashed a few vehicles, and guess whose name the loan is in? Honestly, I deal with stuff like this as a career. I can't predict what's to come. You're so lucky you're young. Others wasted the best years of their lives. And please, when you get out, get a lawyer to find out where your money has been going. See, a lot of my coworkers and their friends are around 20 years older than me and getting divorced over things that are starting in my relationship now. I'm so scared he'll ruin my life. Edit. I got stoned 22 hours into replying to comments, so that's why I'm chatty. Thanks so very much to everyone who's helping me think through this. Tonight, I canceled our 2022 trip to Mexico. I think it's time to leave this relationship. And again, thank you so much to everyone who helped me realize that. I plan to update in a few days. I'll probably still need advice and I'll let you know how it's going. Now for the last update. I'm writing this from a relative's house. I told my husband that I wanted to separate nearly 2 weeks ago, then left the apartment on Monday. I feel like I've changed so much since my original posts, and a part of that is thanks to all the commenters here. I really appreciate everyone who shared their insights and experiences. I've realized that my now ex had a serious dependency on me. I don't think he realizes this, but he's been talking a lot about the childhood trauma he has surrounding his mom, who he cut out of his life. In my previous post, I mentioned how he told me that he thought our marriage was over. There were other things he said at a time that were really hurtful too. Now he tells me he said those things in a moment of misdirected anger. He was angry about his mom and took it out on me. He's been really nice the last few weeks, but there's also been some interactions where he's just been a-holish. It's been downright disappointing the way he reacts to me asking for help with things. I feel like he's maybe put a lot more thought into how he acts, but it's still so self-centered that he's not actually doing anything to help me. He asks me questions, but never has much to say. Until today when he asked if I had thought about how he's felt going through cancer, and if I meant my vows, and how was I just going to give up on us when he never has. Not gonna lie, guilt-tripping has always been a boundary I've tried to maintain in our relationship. He doesn't do this, so I was pretty done after that. I mean, I already told him I will likely want to get divorced once we've been separated for a year, legal reasons. I told him I think we should have entirely separate lives, no commitment to each other. I said we could still talk if it was good for us. But after the fact that he came into the phone call with those questions written down ahead of time, and he told me he always fixes things and makes them right after he messes up, and has fixed his problems in the last month. That's why he's had 2 counseling sessions and got advice from 2 older brothers. I am so done. Like hurt, betrayed, turned off. I just want this to be over. I just know it's going to keep hurting me and I'm not letting it happen anymore. I took my rings off for good this morning. I don't think I can regret our marriage, but I won't regret walking away from it either. I feel terrible sometimes because I know the things he's been through, and because I wish I could have stayed married to my first love. And I hate that he's going through this too, but we've both been through so much. I think the difference is that I wanted to get through those things together, and he decided to go silent for most of our marriage. In the process, I got pushed away, hurt, and honestly feel a bit taken advantage of. I realize that, right now, he's someone who's going to continue to push me away and freeze me out. He wants another chance, after he burned chances for 6 months, and I'm not ashamed to admit. I can't do it. I won't, not after everything. This man took my love and life and looked the other way while I paid for it. I hope he sees it, and I hope he really heals and fixes his problems. I can't be there for it though, and he chose that even if indirectly. I'm in a limbo now, just starting to figure out what the next few weeks will look like. Guys, please help me by sharing your knowledge and wisdom and experience. I do have good support close to me, but I think we all know the unique value of r/relationship advice. And I'm not admitting it much, but I'm sad and scared. The last 2 posts made me feel less alone. Hang in there. You did what was right for you, and no one can or should down you for that. You are still a strong and amazing person. Cry if you need to. As you know, crying lets the emotions drain out of your eyes. Being scared is normal. It's a huge change. Take time for self-care and to learn who you are and who you want to become. I, for one, am proud of you. Keep being fantastic. Thank you so much. Just read through all your posts. My only advice is it's okay to stop moving forward in life. Just pause for a year, keep working your job, but also just try to have fun and figured out who you are without him. Back when I was 23, I went through a major career change and ended up working a dead-end job for a bit over a year. I have no regrets, and I'm thankful for that time because it let me just exist and figure out who I was and what I wanted from life. You're young enough that just taking a pause for a while may be very helpful. Good luck. I'm proud of you. I read all of your older posts before reading this one. I'm glad you finally chose yourself. Next time he guilt trips you, tell him he gave up first. And that just because he had cancer, that doesn't give him the right to continually mistreat you after everything you've done for him. In my opinion, just serve him the divorce paper and tell family told you he wanted a divorce first. Oh, and don't forget to change your direct deposit and make sure he doesn't have access to your bank account, making you one if necessary. Well, OP, you did the right thing. My wife is seriously on your side too, because before she met me, she became a caregiver for her boyfriend at a time, and it ruined her in a lot of ways. There were a lot of similarities between your experience and hers, minus the marriage part. Ultimately, I can't imagine being your boyfriend. Well, I've never struggled with cancer. I'm really struggling with the thought process here. You had his back the entire time, and that's how he responded. He could have faced it entirely alone, but he had you, and you were a freaking trooper. And at the end of it all, he says, "I don't think I can do this anymore." Good lord.
Update. Would I be the a-hole for breaking up with my girlfriend for getting a tattoo of her deceased ex's name? Original post. My girlfriend's ex-boyfriend passed away not too long ago. It was sudden and unexpected, and it really hit her hard. When she got the news, she was completely heartbroken. I didn't know the guy personally, but I still went with her to the funeral because I knew it meant a lot to her. I wanted to support her the best I could. She was clearly going through a lot, and I just wanted to be there. For a while after the funeral, she was very quiet and distant. She wasn't really herself. I tried my best to cheer her up. I'd bring her food, watch her favorite movies with her, take her out to places she likes, just anything to lift her spirits. I knew I couldn't fix her pain, but I wanted her to know she wasn't alone. Lately, she's been doing better. She's smiling more, talking more, and she seems a little more like her old self again. I was happy to see her healing. I thought things were slowly getting back to normal between us. Then the other day, I noticed she had her arm wrapped in something like a bandage or cover. I asked her if everything was okay, and she said she was fine, but I could tell it was from a new tattoo. Those wraps are kind of obvious if you've ever seen one before. So I asked her what tattoo she got, thinking maybe it was something random or something meaningful to her in general. It was her ex's name. Just his name, right there on her arm, clear as day. I froze. I didn't know what to say. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I didn't say anything. I just nodded and kept quiet. But on the inside, I was all over the place. I don't even know if she noticed how I was feeling in that moment. I still don't know exactly how to feel or what to do. I feel a mix of emotions: angry, hurt, confused, even a little jealous. It's like all this time, I thought she was moving on from him, and now this tattoo just pulled me back to the idea that maybe she's still stuck on him. It makes me feel like I'm not enough, or like I'm just a stand-in while she mourns someone else. I understand grief, I really do. I know she loved him once. I even understand that she's sad he's gone, and probably always will be to some degree. But to get his name tattooed on her body, that feels like something deep. That feels like she's holding on to him in a way I didn't expect. It's not just sadness anymore, it feels like something more, and I don't know how I'm supposed to deal with that. I haven't brought it up yet because I honestly don't know how to start the conversation without sounding angry or insecure. But the truth is, I don't know if I can be with someone who still feels so strongly for someone else, especially someone who isn't here anymore. At this point, I feel like the only thing I can do is walk away. I haven't decided yet, but it's what I keep thinking about. I just know that the tattoo changed something, and I don't feel the same about us right now. Now for the top comments before reading the update. It is weird. Have you talked about it at all? I understand that she is grieving, but it is still tattooing your ex's name on your body. Were they close? Does she usually get impulsive tattoos? They were on friendly terms after they broke up. And no, my girlfriend has 4 other tattoos that she's gotten over several years now. Seeing as you both went to the funeral, I'm assuming they were still close? Were they married or had any children together? Nope, no kids or marriage, and I wouldn't say they were super close after the breakup. On friendly terms for sure. Yeah, no kids or married, and she got his name tattooed? That might make me have to bounce then. Sorry, but her grief shouldn't affect your future together. That's tough. You'll know more as time goes on. If looking at her arm pisses you off after a month, then it's something that will build resentment. Playing devil's advocate, should you really be jealous of a dead guy? It's a pickle any way you slice it. Should you really be jealous of a dead guy? That's kind of reductive in my opinion. I mean, can she go around saying, he was the love of my life, I wish I could be with him, and it'd be okay because he's dead, and I shouldn't be jealous of a dead guy? The above commenter only has that position because you're a man. If you were a woman, it would be a very different narrative. Imagine any woman being okay with a guy getting his dead ex's name tattooed on him. Yeah, that wouldn't fly. Now for the update. I broke up with her. It wasn't easy, but I knew it had to be done. I sat her down and told her we needed to talk. I could feel the weight in my chest before I even said the words. She looked at me confused, like she didn't know what was coming, and asked what was wrong. I took a breath and told her straight. I couldn't handle this anymore. I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine when it really wasn't. She asked me what I meant, and I told her it was the tattoo. That was the last straw for me. She looked surprised, like it had never even crossed her mind that it would bother me. She tried to explain, to tell me it wasn't what I thought, that it didn't mean what it looked like. But come on, she got her ex's name permanently on her skin. There's no spinning that into something light. I told her exactly that. I said, you literally got your ex's name tattooed on your body for life. That's not something you do when you're in a relationship with someone else. She apologized. She said she was sorry, that she didn't think about how it would make me feel. She told me she was willing to get it removed, that it wasn't worth losing me over. But I couldn't go back after that. I told her if she wanted to get the tattoo removed, she should do it for her own sake, not for me. Because it wouldn't change anything for me. My mind was already made up. I told her the damage was done. It wasn't just the tattoo itself, it was what it represented. I told her I didn't believe she was truly over her ex. She tried to convince me that she was. She said the tattoo didn't mean she still had feelings, that it was just a way to honor someone who meant a lot to her and who passed away. But I told her that actions speak louder than words. That tattoo said he still held space in her heart that I just didn't feel like I could compete with. I didn't want to spend the rest of our relationship wondering if I was second place to a ghost. It wasn't a shouting match. There was no big fight, just quiet words and a lot of feelings we didn't know what to do with. When it was over, I walked away. I thought I would feel worse. I thought I'd feel angry or broken or something. But instead, I just feel tired. Tired from trying to hold everything together. Tired from the confusion. And tired from feeling like I wasn't really her present, just the guy who happened to be there now. But I also feel relief. I know I did the right thing. It still hurts, but at least I know I stood up for what I need in a relationship. Good man. She had the right to get the tattoo. You had the right to break up with her. Everyone wins. Yes, everyone has the right to do what they want, but should be ready to face any consequence. Not the a-hole. I think the fact that she didn't talk to you about it beforehand is the real issue. It could very well just be a memorial she got out of grief, and I'd say it means less if they were broken up when he passed. Your feelings on this are valid, but I'd say also give her some grace. She's now grieving not just one person she cared deeply for, but two. Dude, you're not the bad guy here. Grief makes people do unpredictable things, sure, but getting a tattoo of her ex's name while in a relationship with you, that's a massive gesture. And it's completely valid that it crossed the line for you. You're allowed to have boundaries, even when someone's going through a tough time. Her loss is real, but so is your hurt. That tattoo probably made you feel like you were suddenly second to someone who, yes, isn't even here anymore, but shouldn't have mattered to her in the first place if alive. That's a heavy thing to carry in a relationship. Will definitely make you think she is doing this out of regret rather than honor. You didn't overreact. You responded to something that felt like a breach of trust or respect. It's okay to walk away from something that no longer feels like it includes you. Grieve the breakup if you need to, okay? Just like she's grieving in her own way. But don't guilt yourself for having a backbone. You did what was right for you, and that matters too. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend I don't want to split bills 50-50 anymore? I, 28 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 27 female, for almost 2 years now. From the beginning of our relationship, we agreed that we'd split everything 50-50. Rent, groceries, going out to eat, date nights, all of it. I thought it was a fair setup, especially since we both wanted to keep things equal and independent. Even though I make a lot more money than she does, I work in tech and she's a teacher, it still felt like the right thing to do at the time. But lately, something about it has started to feel off. I've noticed she's been more stressed when it comes to money. Even though I've been picking up some of the extras here and there, like covering vacation costs, paying for concert tickets, or giving bigger gifts on holidays and birthdays, the core expenses like rent and food are always split right down the middle. The problem is, I've come to realize she's clearly struggling. I know for a fact she's been dipping into her savings just to keep up with our shared expenses. She hasn't said anything directly, but it's obvious. She cuts back on small things for herself, hesitates when we make plans that involve money, and I've even seen her pause before buying groceries sometimes. It's hard to watch. So I decided to bring it up and told her I think it might be time to change things a little. I suggested that maybe we shouldn't stick to this exact 50-50 split anymore. Instead, we could do something more balanced, like contributing based on how much each of us earns. That way, she wouldn't have to stretch herself so thin just to pay half of everything. Her reaction, though, wasn't what I expected. She got pretty upset and told me that she didn't want to feel like she was being kept or seen as less independent. She said she doesn't want to rely on me financially because that makes her feel like we're not really equal. I totally understand her wanting to be seen as strong and capable. I respect that a lot. But at the same time, I can't help but feel like real equality should also take into account what our actual situations are. We're a team, and part of being a team is adjusting when one person is carrying more than they can handle. I don't think I'm being controlling or trying to manipulate her. I'm just trying to be fair and responsible. Because to me, it's not fair for someone to risk going broke just to keep up with a system that looks equal, but doesn't feel that way in real life. So now I'm stuck wondering, am I the a-hole for wanting to change the financial setup even though she never asked me to? Or am I just trying to do the right thing? Now for the comments. No a-holes here, I'd say. You're approaching this from a position of kindness and fairness, while she's looking at it from the mindset of independence. This is something you can only resolve through open communication. Try to explain to her that there's nothing shameful about contributing proportionally to income, that it doesn't make her kept or anything like that. Whoever is stronger should do more of the heavy lifting. That's reasonable, isn't it? Also realistically, paying 50-50 is making her less independent since she is draining her savings to keep up, whereas proportional bill pay would allow her to keep her savings rather than losing it. And if she is struggling to keep up and she wants 50-50, then the other option is to reduce her lifestyle and expenses. Not the a-hole for wanting to change it, but you can't approach this as a one-and-done conversation. Money is one of, if not the #1 most cited reasons for divorce. It's normal to feel uncomfortable when you feel like you aren't paying your fair share. She's struggling with the same feelings you are. Overall, no a-holes here. Keep talking about it. Listen to her concerns and figure out how you two can problem solve together. My practical response to her, as the high earner in my own relationship, is that the point of things being equitable is so the low earner can save as well and be independent, and be able to stand on their own if we were to separate. Exactly. It's not about making them dependent, it's about giving them the same opportunity to save and invest that the higher earner naturally has. You're a good man, OP. Bro found himself a keeper by the sounds of it too. Last story. Am I the a-hole for considering leaving my Latina girlfriend after what I heard her family say? I'm a 29-year-old man. For 2 years, I had a long-distance relationship with Diana, who's 26. She's from South America and is very beautiful. So beautiful she could be a model. I'm from Europe and I'm not very handsome. She moved to my country a few months ago. Diana helps with cooking and cleaning, and she works and contributes money for our expenses, but I let her live in my house for free. I recently went to her country because I was thinking about proposing to her, and her family made comments today that made me uncomfortable. Her aunt told me Diana finally got a foreigner like she wanted. And her other family members continued making comments like that. They always made these comments when she wasn't listening. I even got confused because my Spanish isn't good, but sometimes they even said them in English. Honestly, I feel used, and I already want to return to my country. I'm considering leaving her because I feel like she's using me. Even though she can't get citizenship by marrying me, it would make things easier for her. I don't want to talk to her because I feel pathetic. She's very pretty, and I often wondered why she was dating me. Now I doubt myself even more. I know her family isn't entirely trustworthy because Diana's father cheated on Diana's mother for years. Her father even had a child with his mistress, and her family covered for him. So I don't know how true her words are, but I can't help but feel insecure. I feel humiliated, alone, and I'm in a country I don't know. I don't want to talk about this with my friends and family because I'm ashamed. So I'm just looking for advice. Am I the a-hole? Have you ever thought that the reason she wants a foreigner is that she doesn't like the men from her own culture? I wouldn't date someone from the country I was born. I decided to date a man from a different culture. Oftentimes, women in South American countries don't want their native men because of machismo or infidelity. It's a common thing there, and women are, for the most part, expected to preserve the family unit. She may want to have a loyal and loving man, and figured a foreigner would be best for that. Especially since her father consistently cheated on her mom while her family covered for him. I could see her looking at the men in her family and thinking she wants someone completely different. This is a great point. Another possibility is that they said those things to ruin her life for their own reasons. The red flag was when they are saying these things while she is not around. They are definitely trying to stir up something so you break up with her. She will no longer have a place to stay and will have to go back home and back under their control. You are thinking of proposing to this woman, so I'm hoping you love her, but you're thinking of breaking up with her because of things her family said, without even talking to her first? Honestly, don't marry her. It sounds like you're letting your insecurities dictate your choices. Anyone truly in love with someone would discuss this first to get a clear understanding of what's really going on. If she's been committed to you, has shown she's into you and not just using you, give her the benefit of the doubt. Be an adult and speak to her. Your insecurities are yours to handle. If you can't, just let her go. You would be the a-hole if you just up and leave. Yup, marriage requires communication, so go talk to her and listen to what she says. Ask what they meant. Don't put your own worst spin on it because you're insecure.